Well, what I was going to talk about, what else, is about this autobiography. I mean, it's on my mind. It's been on my mind for a year and a half now. And it's, as Ken told you, it's coming out in my beloved Saturday Evening Post. You'll notice all during my talk, which won't be very long, I mentioned the beloved Saturday Evening Post. That's the way I feel about it, and about the editors. Now, it isn't going to be a psychological sex drama, you know. And I thought I'd tell a little story that'll perhaps explain why it won't be that kind of a thing. This is also coming out in book form, but after all, when it's going to be published 6,500,000, I don't know what's going to happen about the book. But there was the chapter in the book is called I Meet the Body Beautiful. I'm 15 years old, and I've never seen a lady except completely dressed, you know. And I go to art school, and I go into the antique class where you draw from casts, you know, Venus, Adonis, and things like that. Very impersonal. And I looked on the wall that separates that from what they call a life class. Over the years, there have been a lot of little holes put in it where you can look through into the life class. Now, you gentlemen most likely think we were looking through to see the lady or the gentleman who were posing in the other room. It wasn't that. It was might have been for a few, but or once in a while. But we were really looking in to see this heaven that we were going to. We were going to draw from real people. Well, finally, they saw my work, and I passed the examination, and I was to go into life class. Well, in life class, the week before, when the week was over, the teacher marks 1, 2, 3 according to what he believes is the merit of the work. So the new fellow, who is myself, comes in, and I have no number. Well, that week, there was a big, handsome, sort of a Brunhilde type, very large, buxom woman posing. And of course, I was a little timid about even looking in that direction. But when they came, and each one took a position. Well, unfortunately, the position she took, it was a 2-week pose. She was laying on her side, a sort of a, reclining Venus. And remember, she's a very large woman. And when my turn came to take the seat, I was way down at her feet. And for 2 weeks, I sat and looked at the soles of her feet and this moonlight-like shape in back of it. So that may explain why I've never been much of a Casanova. Now, maybe I can tell you briefly how this autobiography started. My wife and I had talked it over, and my son Tom was working on a magazine in New York and was rewriting stuff, the letters that were sent in and so on. And I timidly said to Ken, well, how about Tom? He said, fine. I couldn't believe it. But so we started in, and we worked for about a year. That is, Tom worked practically all the time for a year. I'm a garrulous guy. And it wound up, instead of commentary, there was 140,000 words, you know. So we were kind of worried about this, but we took the thing and freighted it down to Ken. And Ken didn't seem too shocked. He kind of liked it, and he showed it to Ben and to Bob, and then I got an invitation to lunch. I didn't know what was coming up, but I went down to lunch, and here I got written, boom, with 3 exclamation points. I go down, we have a private dining room, and Mr. Sherrod was there, Bob Sherrod, and there were about 5 of us, I guess. And Ben said that the Post were going to buy it and publish it. Well, you can imagine, here I am, an old so-and-so, 44, next year is my 45th year doing Post covers. And this is like, I don't know, just wonderful. They're going to put my autobiography in just before I die or something. But I made it, see? Even now, I tell you the truth, I'm so afraid when I go home tonight I get killed on the way home. because I got to live till February 13th. So we're at lunch, and Ben says, how much, he said, what do you think we ought to pay you for this? And I said, well, Tom did all the work. Well, he said, how about $50,000? I said, listen, I'll pay you. You don't have to pay me $50,000. And, well, he said, how much do you think you're going to pay? And I said, well, I hadn't thought about it, but I would say it's adequate if you give me $15,000. He said, that's what I said, $15,000. And I said, no, you don't. I said, look, at Ken wrote $50,000. It's right on the tablecloth. So we get this $50,000. So then we all walked back, and I don't walk back, I floated back. Then I said goodbye to the others, and Ken and I go to the office, and I say, gee, Ken, I got to give you $15,000 or a Cadillac or something. This is before payola came up, you know. And Ken said, what do you think, I'm a prostitute? You know, I can't do this. Oh, gee, I said, I can't take all that money. This is ridiculous. I'd buy it. I mean, anything, you see. Well, anyway, that's the way it went. Now, have I got enough time for, because Bob is it? Well, this is very quick. I want to tell you that when you do anything for the Post, when you people write your biographies, there's going to be quite a number of them, why, they check every damn little item. See, now, for instance, there was a story of the dumbwaiter, which is just a gay little, or supposed gay little story. Linedecker, God rest his soul, was the great cover artist, and I adored him and everything, and I had, maybe I was following him, but I had a studio on the same floor at the Beaux-Arts building in New York. And this was during Prohibition, and Texas Guinan had a nightclub on the top floor. And at night, whenever Joe went to bed, or during the afternoon even, you could hear this rumbling sound in the wall. And well, one time he decided, those days used to paper the rooms, and he decided to paper the room again. They took off the paper, and they found there was a dumbwaiter, little door in it. And so we opened it, and lo and behold, the rumbling started, and here comes 2 shelves on the dumbwaiter, champagne, you know, all of this Prohibition liquor going up to Texas Guinan. So this went along for, maybe a month, and we weren't too thieving about it, you know, but anybody came in, we maybe asked more people for cocktails than we generally did. Well, so we'd say, what'll you have, you know, and they'd say, you know, martini or something. So the thing would come up, and they'd go slowly by and say, no martinis, but champagne. Okay. So this, I don't know if this is in the magazine or not, but yes, it was in the magazine, because then, you know, Wesley Price is working, and he did a wonderful job on shortening it and pepping it up and so on. And he said, you got to find out the time that Texas Guinan was there and prove that she was there. Well, Tommy went to the libraries in New York. He went to the city records in New York. Nobody knew anything about Texas Guinan, where she had been or anything else. And then he went to the newspapers, and there were some items about a golden slipper. Well, that moved quite often, you know, and everything. And they went to the police, and of course they knew nothing about it, you know. So, you see, I mean, they check every doggone thing. So they finally had to take my word for it, which is perfectly true. She was up there for a long time. Now, there's another short little checking story, which brought out, I think, a rather cute item. During the First World War, when none of you people were alive, I got all excited and volunteered, but I didn't get that excited. I volunteered in the Navy. You know, work, fight, or join the Navy. So I go down, and I served my time at the Battle of Charleston. It was a terrific battle, and when it was all settled and we'd won and everything, I was painting a picture of the captain, and he was a very vain, proud, but I loved him, man, and I had them all in uniform, gold braid and everything else. And I told them I wanted to get out of the Navy, and I told them the only thing to do, I have to go up to Nautilus to get a magnificent hand-carved frame. Well, he wanted it right off. And the armistice was almost to the day the armistice was signed. And they couldn't, we worked out this discharge, inadaptability discharge. Well, in going back, you see, so then Wes Price says, well, have you got the discharge? No, I haven't got the discharge. Well, we'll have to look it up. And he goes to the Philadelphia Navy Yard or someplace, and he finds this discharge. And I want to read the comment. You see, this is, I think, the funniest thing in the book. And this is in my service record. Discharge with inaptitude discharge. Rockwell is an artist and unaccustomed to hard manual labor. His patriotic impulse caused him to enlist in a rating for which he has no aptitude whatsoever. Moreover, he is unsuited to Navy routine and any kind of work. Now, then the funny thing is, right down below it, I have written, I concur absolutely in the above statement, signed Norman Rockwell. Well, that's the end. Now it's coming out in 8 installments, and you've seen the cover. And the last little bit I wanted to say is that that particular issue, I've talked it over with Ken, and I guess Ben realizes it's kind of my issue. I don't know what the other people are getting in there for. I'm doing the cover. There's beautiful color photographs of not too beautiful guy, and then there's the first installment and all that. But the thing is, you noticed on that picture they projected here, it reminded me that way long ago, before Ben was here, and it was so democratic and easy as it is now, Larimer had written me a letter, and he had said that go ahead and sign your name as big as you like, but don't make it bigger than the word post. See? Now, I claim that Ben Hibbs, God bless him, when this cover comes out, I measured it. It's 1/8 of an inch bigger than the word post. So I've made it.